Hello, salutations. What it do? It's Dr. Gabriel, Father Do I Gang No Vibes Like Scrap. Let's get it. Welcome to another episode of the Aftershow Podcast. I'm joined by JayShockBlast and the ghost of Casual Avenger, who is currently eating deep dishes in heaven, aka Chicago. So we're going to hold it down in his memory. Thank you once again for joining us, and big congratulations to Capte for beating Eastwood once again. You are officially first in the comments. Congratulations. We got another great show for you tonight. But first, how are you doing, JayShockBlast?
I could complain, but nobody listens, so doesn't matter.
I don't care.
Exactly.
Well, we make fun of you because we care, Jay. we care.
Yeah.
We care deeply about you. A lot of stuff happened over the so once again. So we got a lot to cover. We got New York Comic Con that JayShockBlast somehow was not invited to occurred.
I could have gone. I just wanted to pay for it, and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, that doesn't count. so JayShockBlast could have gone, but I streamed the Marvel portion of it on my channel. A shout out to everyone who hung out for that. We actually managed to have more live viewers and likes than the official Marvel stream of New York Comic Con. So that was a nice little accomplishment showing that Durag Nation is truly unstoppable.
I mean, it could be stopped clearly, but
only by the man. But
yeah,
we'll continue elsewhere. You can stop us one place, we'll pop up somewhere else.
Man. Speaking of the man, remember? I don't remember if it was on the show or after the show. I talked to you about the case that's going on around here about the lady that like they're accusing.
The cop case.
Yeah,
where the cops basically killed somebody and covered it up.
Essentially, that's what I believe happened. And there's allegedly there's a journalist that around here that goes by Turtle Boy, and he's been covering it. And they actually arrested him 2 days ago and charged him with 8 counts of witness intimidation because of all the articles he's been writing about the people he's accusing of being the ones that actually did it. They're also accusing him of conspiracy because a dispatcher ran a plate for him, which honestly is like a finable offense. You know, like it's not like, oh, we're going to charge you with a crime, you know? It is insane. And it's actually getting national traction because it's not every day you see a journalist
get arrested
for being a journalist. Now, I'll be honest with you. He's super aggressive, and like he has become as much, there are journalists that become like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but,
ambush journalists.
It's more than it is. It's basically ambush journalism, but he's also like an advocate, like he's protesting and stuff like that. And there are journalists that do that, but like we
call them journalists.
Yeah. Well, he always writes about it and like all that stuff. This is like insane. One of the arresting officers, the one who put the cuffs on him, is somebody he's written multiple stories about and accused of basically being corrupt. And it's like just a huge case of like, it's insane. Like, and he's white, which is even crazier.
Yeah, I think that's the most insane thing about this entire thing.
Yeah.
A white woman was allegedly killed by police, or what she's being framed.
It was her boyfriend was a Boston police officer. The house was another Boston police officer. Like honestly, it would take an hour to even explain it all. But like, you're going. There's Dateline is already filming stuff for it.
So basically, this is definitely going to be a Netflix true crime.
Oh, absolutely. He's already said that he's working with people on a documentary. He's been approached with a bunch of things. There's so much conflict of interest, Steve. Like, it's insane, and like, I've honestly like been like so hooked to it. Is the journalist named J. Jonah Jameson? I've been so hooked to it that like there are nights where like I'm like, yeah, I can't work. I need to watch and listen to what he's got that's new. Like it's like there's no possible way. Like if you look at the autopsy photos, it looks like a guy that got his ass kicked. Okay. They're trying to tell me that she backed into him going 26 miles an hour. All right. He has no injuries, no broken bones, no bruising or anything from here to his feet. The only other injuries are all over his arm where he was mauled by a German shepherd that disappeared from the house. Nobody knows where the German shepherd is. So it's just, how do you like get hit by a car and die and have like 2 black eyes, no injuries to your torso at all?
It's literally impossible.
It's literally so yeah, that's like that's where they lose me, you know. And then when you start like seeing all the people that are connected, oh man, we could do like a true crime thing on this thing. But anyway, back to fun stuff. I needed to share that with you now before I forgot, because I know that we'd kind of talked about it and you seemed kind of interested. But like the fact that they arrested an actual journalist and charged him with witness intimidation for writing about them.
Yeah, I'm no legal expert, but I'm pretty sure the standard for witness intimidation is not writing an article about someone who they believe is involved in the cover up of a crime.
Yeah, Eastwood. It's basically The Departed, like, you know. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just like, it's crazy. Like today, they took all of his stuff. They took his laptop. They took his phone. He can't even access any of his YouTube or Twitter.
Sounds like they're trying to find out what he has on.
Yeah, like it's insane.
This is the most corrupt police force incompetently so. Like this, like we all know the police are corrupt, but they're not even good at this is so comically bad.
They applied as they appointed a special prosecutor who has never prosecuted a case before, and
makes sense,
and is also longtime family friends with the district attorney,
of course,
you know, and some of the attorneys for the people some of the 8 people that are accusing. So like it's just every time you think you've seen it all, something else comes up.
Next time they're going to arrest you for witness tamper.
And you know what was badass though? So this is something they could have given him a summons and he could have appeared for. Okay. So they arrested him at his kid's bus stop when he was dropping them off for school. And the warrant was signed on the 6th. This happened on the 10th. Okay. So like they could have done this at any time. They chose to do it there. So they made him do the whole perp walk and everything with the handcuffs on as he's going in. Everybody was tipped off about it apparently. So the whole media is there, and somebody asks him if he has anything to say about the charges he's walking in. And he goes, yeah, I'd love to know if anybody found that Ford Edge that was parked in front of the house at 3 a.m. Like just absolute like. And then he came out on the steps, like mobbed by cameras and everything, and just absolutely blasted everybody and everything that had just happened. Like honestly, it was some pretty legendary shit.
This is welcome to America.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like now everybody's talking about it. It like totally backfired. He's got some a civil attorney, like a nonprofit group that specializes in pursuing stuff like this.
Yeah, because you can't arrest journalists in America.
And he's already filing a lawsuit against everybody. So yeah.
Yeah, I think they underestimated just how much people hate police in America, just in general.
Yeah,
that they thought they could get away with this.
Yeah, so basically I just I don't know, I had to get that out of my system. Yeah, I hope he wins too.
I appreciate the update because I forgot about this case because we wanted to see if we could get him on the show at some point because I was curious about this.
Yeah, I don't think that's yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Well, yeah, he's got some issues to deal with.
Yeah, well, not only that, but I also I feel like they're gonna like start going like they did like this rolling rally thing where they went to like place to place where like, and it did involve going to some of their houses, like because this is where they live. You can see how close they are to each other. You can see how close these people are. These people know each other because of this. So like it was like a field trip, and they ended in front of the Canton Police Department, which is the town where it happened. And they said that they're investigating every single person that they have like apparently documented license plates and everything, which is ironic, of everybody that was involved, and they could all be charged too with witness intimidation.
I can't wait to watch this documentary.
Yeah, seriously. Anyway,
it's going to be wild. But besides this this obvious case of police corruption, we're going to talk Insomniac, Spider-Man 2. We're going to talk the Activision Blizzard deal, the Daredevil Born Again overhaul, actor strike, and I convinced Jay to watch the first episode of Gen V, and he was horrified by it. And
talk about getting set up.
It was beautiful. I cannot wait. So once again, shout out to everyone in the chat. Stephen Eastwood, we got Nono here, Captain, of course, who was first. What's up, Nightmare, Spider-Man, Billy, Simple. Appreciate you guys hanging out once again. So let's get into the first story of the day real quick. We got some of that. What did the kids call it, Jay? Marketing. Is that what they're calling it? Yeah, we got a little more of that. So like I said, I was live streaming the New York Comic Con, and we ratioed Marvel. And
I streamed during the this portion.
Yeah, I started streaming that too. I ended up downloading this app so I can try to win some of those giveaways. Oh, yeah. That was pretty fun. It was rigged. So what someone won twice in a row. It was bullshit. But we had a lot of fun hanging out, banning people for trying to spoil the game. And then we finally got to the main event, which was the suit reveal, and we got a look at the Brooklyn 2099 and the Kumo suit, which I like. So I did a video about this earlier, and I did a poll, and surprisingly, most of the people are messing with the Brooklyn 2099 suit the most. I like the Kumo suit a lot more.
I agree.
Maybe because it reminds me of something like you see in Ghost of Tsushima and Jujutsu Kaisen, but I love the design. I like the 2099. The suit is cool, but I like the 2099 Miles suit from his solo game. But the Brooklyn 2099 is still so decent. But I absolutely love the Kumo suit. I thought it looked absolutely amazing. I thought shout out to Peaches.
Peach Momoko. Yeah, I met her last year at New York Comic Con. And she's definitely one of my favorite artists. She always does like very Japanese style artwork, and it's always like kind of like water print, I think. And she actually did like some really cool like what if style storylines, like called Demon Wars, and it basically shows everybody as if they were in like Batman Ninja. You know what I mean? And the first story was around Psylocke, but like I know that she did something for like Iron Man too. But yeah, like she does lots of variant covers and stuff like that, and she's one of the few artists that like her, David Nakayama, and Scotty Young are like three of my favorites to get their artists. Their covers, and it's funny because they're all very unique. Like you've definitely seen Scotty Young. Scotty Young does like all the kiddie style, like they're all kids basically.
Yeah.
And then obviously David Nakayama is just he's great.
Yeah, Miles the 2099 looks pretty cool. Looks pretty
kind of looks like Darkhawk.
Yeah, I actually was thinking like it's kind of giving me Batman Beyond vibes.
Yeah, I see that.
You know, little turn against, but yeah, but this Kumo suit is just so good. And the interesting thing about this, I didn't point this out in my video yet, but I'm looking at the background where this Kumo suit takes place, and I recognize that environment from the story trailer. I think I believe this is the scene where Peter confronts Wraith
in
the story trailer, because it was in a room it was on fire. There was the architecture was similar to this, so I think that might be a shot from whatever mission that is. I'm
gonna be honest with you. I have been doing everything in my power to avoid anything and everything. I just don't want to know. You know, like we're so close. We're like less than a week. A week from right now, we will all be balls deep in this game, no matter what. You know what I mean?
So yeah, the sport. So apparently, so definitely stay off TikTok if.
I'm old. I've never been so happy to be old because I don't use TikTok really at all.
Yeah, I use TikTok every once in a while to upload stuff. I don't have it downloaded on my phone anymore, but I occasionally upload a video on the desktop version, so I don't actually participate in TikTok otherwise. But yeah, apparently the entire story of the whole game was basically leaked on a TikTok, and Lejeune, who does use TikTok, unfortunately, he caught a huge L there. But it's weird. Like during the live stream, people kept trying to spam spoilers in the chat. I was, mods were on top of it. But so when I was streaming I had early access to Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah, I saw that.
And someone dropped a $5 super chat just to put a spoiler in it. And I had to, unfortunately, a few people in the chat got spoiled, but when I saw them comment on it, so I quickly banned them and removed it without looking at it. But yeah, that just shows just how pathetic these people are. Like they are actually that desperate to ruin people's enjoyment of a video game. They're willing to spend money to do it.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Like it's such a dick move, but I also like don't want to like make a big deal about it because I feel like people that like do that will see somebody make a big deal about it and like target them even more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I know some of them are 100% just console warriors, because we saw before early access went out, a bunch of Xbox accounts were saying that they were going to spread Spider-Man 2 spoilers in order to own the ponies because their butt hurt over Starfield.
So fucking stupid.
It's like why? It's like why? It's like why? Your life is actually just pathetic if you're trying to ruin people's enjoyment of a video game because you feel like it's your sacred duty to defend a $1 billion corporation. Come on. What are we doing?
I'm over it.
This is absolute fatherless behavior. This is 100%. But fortunately, I haven't seen any of the big spoilers. I didn't watch any of the gameplay clips. I haven't seen the leaked suit lists. I've been avoiding pretty much everything. The only spoiler I willingly looked at was the trophy list, and it didn't bother me because the only really big spoilers on there, one of them, Najee Jeter basically spoiled 2 years ago, so it wasn't a big deal. And the other one is something that I literally predicted and knew was coming. So it didn't hit me that badly. Otherwise, I was like, yeah, all right, that's all I need. I'm good.
If I see something, like, it's not the end of the world, I would just prefer to go in knowing as little as possible. I want to just experience it myself.
Yeah, just want to be surprised.
I always remember, like, and this is like an almost 20-year-old game, so like I don't feel like anybody can get mad about spoilers, okay? Spoiler. But like so spoiler alert for Knights of the Old Republic, I just never forget that I somehow managed to play that whole game, and it never occurred to me that my character was Revan at any point in time. And I just remember the feeling of understanding that that's who I was. And it's just one of the reasons why the game is so special to me, you know, like
he got M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but
M. Night Shyamalan.
I know who that is, but
I see dead people. The ending to that.
I've never watched that movie.
What the fuck, Jack? That's like one of the biggest.
I understand.
That's like one of the biggest cultural moments for plot twists.
You
didn't see The Sixth Sense? Really?
No. All right. I'm not like a horror movie guy. I'm not into like my name is Jason. My middle name is Michael. I was born on Halloween, and I don't like horror movies. I'm just not into it.
But it's not really a horror movie. It's
but it's got some.
It's a suspense thriller.
Not the type of movie I would watch, and have never seen.
Well, the point is that there is a extremely famous and massive plot twist that occurs at the end of that movie, and it's kind of.
You could explain it to me. I'm not going to ever watch it. I'm not mad if it's spoiled.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so M. Night Shyamalan's whole deal, which spawned from that movie, is that he sets up a movie with an interesting premise, and then he has like this. He tries to throw in like this big plot twist at the end. That ended up becoming kind of his formula because of The Sixth Sense. Before he kind of started moving away from it in later their films, but basically it's about this kid who is spoiler alert for this 20-year-old movie. is about this kid who has the ability to see ghosts, and obviously that's extremely traumatic for him. So he ends up working with this child psychiatrist played by Bruce Willis, who has his own demons and stuff to deal with, and through helping this kid who first he doesn't believe, but then he comes to realize he does in fact see ghosts. So he helps him kind of come to terms with his abilities and how to deal with it and live life despite seeing the dead, and actually encourages him and empowers him to help these spirits who are in large part restless and are sticking around because they have unfinished business. And the big way that the kid ends up helping a ghost is because at the end it turns out Bruce Willis was a ghost the entire time, and the kid helps him move on and first realize that he had died, and then helps him eventually come to terms and move on to the next stage.
Gotcha. Yeah, very much like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Correct.
Holy shit, I can't believe you didn't watch this movie.
No, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of movies I haven't watched though.
You did like Unbreakable? Unbreakable was a good movie. I'm assuming that was another M. Night Shyamalan movie you didn't watch.
I couldn't even tell you if I've seen any of those movies.
Unbreakable was M. Night Shyamalan's attempt to make a grounded superhero story. Bruce is once again starring Bruce Willis, and he basically plays this guy who is unbreakable. He has enhanced. he realizes after he survives a train wreck that kills like dozens of people, and he literally walks away from it with no injuries like whatsoever. He realizes that there's something off about himself. He brushed it aside because he's never been sick before, and he even confirmed like he's never called out sick. Can't remember ever getting hurt, but he did nearly drown when he was a kid. That's why he thought he was just a normal guy. But turns out after the train incident, he starts testing it and realizes that he has enhanced strength, and he's basically invulnerable to physical harm. But his weakness is that he can drown.
Okay.
Yeah, and Samuel L. Jackson's in that movie too. He's really great in there. He plays his opposite. He's they call him Mr. Glass. He was born with the opposite condition to Bruce Willis. He instead of being unbreakable like Bruce Willis, he breaks easily. Like he can literally shatter his bones if he trips and falls or stubs his toe. Like he's extremely fragile. But he's driven to be a supervillain because of it. Yeah, so the plot twist for that is that Samuel L. Jackson's Mr. Glass does investigations to try to find powered people, and he discovers that Bruce Willis is one of those people, one of these enhanced individuals, and he kind of sees this world as like a comic book. So we find out he's actually the one who caused the train to derail to try to lure out, to try to draw out Bruce Willis's abilities, and he like introduces himself at the end as his like self-declared arch nemesis, and it becomes a thing.
Does sound awful.
So it was a good movie. There's a better. So he ends up, surprisingly ended up becoming a trilogy, because there was a second movie that was this really good. It was actually a really good thriller. It was like this mystery thriller about this guy with split personality who abducts a bunch of girls.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's got James McAvoy from Days of Future Past. Yeah. And it
Powder?
No, it was definitely not Powder.
I remember because there's a Mr. Glass movie too, right?
Yeah, it was basically a secret sequel to Unbreakable.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I'm familiar with what you're talking about. I know the McAvoy movie. So yeah.
Yeah, it's called Split.
Split. It was one word.
Yeah. So JayShockBlast confirms he is uncultured in the art of M. Night Shyamalan. So I've probably seen. I'm surprised I've actually seen almost every M. Night Shyamalan movie, even though I hated several of them.
Yeah.
Especially after what he did to The Last Airbender. Still haven't gotten over that one. That was an insult to cinema.
So I apologize that I derailed us from Spider-Man talk. Back on it.
Yeah, back on. Yeah, we had to take a sidebar to explain how uncultured Jay is.
Yeah, all of this because I said that like I don't mind spoilers, but I would prefer not to have them because of my KOTOR experience. So yeah.
Well, there you go. So if you value a spoiler-free experience, please stay off of TikTok and
set up mute words. Like honestly, like the marketing's done, folks. Marketing bros, you can relax. I would just maybe mute the word Spider-Man and
we got the review embargo lifting on Monday as well. So we're gonna have a fresh wave of.
I saw Caboose tweet that he's platinum the game.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It's been about a week since he had it.
Well, I did the Xbox equivalent of platinuming Assassin's Creed Mirage last night.
Oh, there you go. Someone actually approached me about an app they developed to allow you to not see spoilers across social media platforms.
Huh.
and they want me to do a sponsored video for it. So I'm gonna, if it actually is if it actually works, I'll drop something for that, so you can avoid spoilers for Spider-Man and anything else in the future, because that's definitely something I'll be interested in. But speaking of Xbox, all you Xbox can rejoice, because it's finally over after a very long and drawn out legal dispute. The $69 billion deal is now finished. Microsoft now owns Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard and all their assets. This broke the other day, and
this clearly means that PlayStation's about to shut down, as Jim Ryan said.
Clearly,
this will put them under.
That's why Jim Ryan stepped down.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer said the securing Activision was incredible. I mean, $69 billion, it better be. He said, "I have long said that I'm fully committed to helping with the transition. This person and I both look forward to working together on a smooth integration for our teams and players. Despite concerns from rivals such as PlayStation maker Sony and regulators over competition in the game industry, Mr. Spencer, who is chief executive of Microsoft Gaming, sought to reassure gamers by lying, saying, whether you play on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, or mobile, you are welcome here and will remain welcome even if Xbox isn't where you play your favorite franchise," Mr. Spencer said in a statement following the takeover that nobody actually believed, unless you played Starfield and gave it a 10.
Well, I think Call of Duty will stay multi-platform. I really do. I do think that once the marketing deal is done next year, it'll transition back over to Xbox, getting everything first, because that's the way it was in the 360 days.
Yep.
And I don't first of all, I don't love stuff like that in general. So like whether it's happening for Xbox or for PlayStation, I don't like it when one platform gets something before the other. But it's theirs now.
And they have a lot of IPs. Someone's looking down a list of potential franchises that now under Microsoft, and I saw stuff like, obviously we know Overwatch, Diablo, but Spiral the Dragon. I saw
Prototype,
which I don't know if Xbox drops a prototype, a next gen prototype game. I might have to pick one up. I don't know. I mean, I was hoping Fable would be that, but I have no faith in that one. So prototype would definitely get me in the door, though. Love me some prototype.
I would love to see, like, honestly, the biggest thing that I want to see happen is I want them, and at this point, I don't even know that like High Moon Studios is what they used to be, but I would like to take them out of being like one of the support studios for Call of Duty and let them go back to making their own games, because they made same thing with Raven Soft. Like Raven, they both used to make like lots of really great games. Like High Moon made all those Transformer games that were great, like War for Cybertron.
The dream was actually replaying those on Twitch.
Yeah, and like those games were huge for me when I was like starting my channel. Like honestly, there was a chunk of people for a long time that knew me as much for my Transformer videos as they did my Lego videos, which is crazy.
Yeah, Jay made a lot. Jay actually made a surprising amount of them.
Yeah, I made a lot. I covered every single one of those games, and like they got lots of views too. So, as a matter of fact, I think one of them is like one of my top 10 videos. But there's Lejeune, speaking of.
Speak of the devil.
But Raven also made like a bunch of games that we all loved. Like I know they made that Wolverine game, I think.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they made that.
But yeah, that was goated.
But like Activision basically turned them into like Call of Duty mills, basically. Like they just were support studios that worked in the background on all that stuff.
Yeah, it seems like a way. It seems like a way, especially since it's for Call of Duty, like
right. And those Transformer games were really, really good. So I would love to see, like, obviously they'd have to work with Hasbro again, but I would love to see them go back to making those type of games.
Spyro is interesting because that was one of Insomniac's big games, and obviously Insomniac is a PlayStation studio now. So I'm wondering, would it be doing a Spyro game without Insomniac, or would they try to work with Insomniac to do a multi-platform release? Feels doubtful. It feels more like they would try to just get a new studio to make Spyro.
I bet that would be what would happen. Because I don't see any reason why PlayStation would open up Insomniac to make a game for.
They have really.
Even if they guarantee to be multi-platform, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't really benefit. Like from a PlayStation perspective, Insomniac is doing great just making PlayStation exclusives. I mean, Spider-Man, one of the best selling games of all time. Spider-Man 2, probably going to be the biggest selling game of the generation for PS5. So they have no reason to do anything other than have Insomniac keep making exclusive Ratchet and Clank. They still have they're reportedly working on a new IP that's going to be multiplayer for Sony that they haven't announced yet. So they can just let Spyro go. But I am curious what new comes up from this, because the issue is, of course, is that Xbox buys these studios because they have a hard time putting out first party games consistently at a high level, but so far when they make all these acquisitions, they still seem to struggle to put out these first party games at a high level.
That is fair, but to be fair as well, that is also why PlayStation started buying studios, like to put out exclusive games.
Yeah, and but I think the problem is that PlayStation already just has a great ecosystem where they're able to consistently put out games, that first party games, that at a high level, and then they snatch up the studios that are able to deliver, that they say, okay, this is a studio that we can work with that's going to put out high quality work, so we're going to acquire them. Whereas Xbox seems like their strategy has been to kind of like flounder around and then just make a big splashy acquisition for a studio that has a proven track record.
I don't 100% disagree with that, but they've also done stuff that's not in our wheelhouse. Like they bought, Minecraft, and like how many spin-offs have they run from Minecraft? Like a lot. So like I know that that's not something either of us really like resonate towards, but Minecraft is still like one of the biggest games in the world, and it still sells like billions of copies.
Yeah, it's a huge game, driven seemingly primarily by the social media presence as well.
Yeah, so like I mean, granted, not what we would be into, and so far everything Minecraft related has, I believe, been multi-platform. I don't think they've done anything Minecraft exclusive to Xbox,
which goes what I was saying. Like this is like consistency issues with Xbox. Like it's unclear if they're trying to correct this, or because they also partly just seem to be just fully all in on cloud gaming and just setting up stuff for Game Pass, which studios aren't necessarily fond of, that from what I've heard, because I've heard some complain that the Game Pass model kind of devalues the product to a degree.
I can see why that is, because I do feel like there are a lot of people that are like, I'm just gonna wait for it to come out on Game Pass. I don't know what they're gonna do here. Like I feel like Call of Duty is gonna be Minecraft. I feel like they're gonna keep pushing it both ways, because like that's the reason. Like that and Candy Crush are gonna make them their 69 billion back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it wouldn't make sense, especially since Call of Duty. It's not like Call of Duty is in the best place in terms of like growth. It kind of is what it is. It has this built-in audience, and
which is massive.
Yeah, which is very large, but it definitely is not necessarily immune to losing say audience, because many of them hate it.
And it's funny though, because we've seen a massive shift just recently. Like, I've never been excited about Call of Duty before, but like now I'm like, I'm gonna play as Skeletor on Tuesday in Call of Duty
because they basically saw that they were losing ground to Fortnite. Was like, well, let's just be Fortnite.
Yeah, and it's not even just Fortnite either. That like, because I know like even PUBG is kind of the one that started the whole battle royale push, and even PUBG has done stuff like that. Like, I remember I actually had a video featured on like Forbes or something with when the Joker and Harley Quinn had outfits in PUBG, and it's like, they've done it too. And now Call of Duty is finally catching up. We're like, okay, we were doing all these things that were like kind of close, but they weren't licensed. But the licensed stuff is clearly killing it,
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, let's lean on some of our own IPs. So they've got Diablo stuff, and then Skeletor, and I think Ash Williams.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm still never playing Call of Duty, but I don't care what they add.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I've played I haven't played Call of Duty as much over the last few years, but like I started in Call of Duty on Call of Duty 2. And there's a stretch where I played every single one of them pretty much up until Jon Snow's Call of Duty. That's kind of, I think there's like Advanced Warfare. I started to kind of slow down there, and I had switched over to Battlefield mostly at that point. But like, I mean, I used to love Call of Duty. I had a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Xbox 360.
Sure.
Like,
my only exposure to Call of Duty is watching Lejeune rage to it on Twitch.
It's something else to watch him play that. I can't wait to like be part of the rage with him.
Yeah, definitely got to do a co-stream play Call of Duty. Just make sure you put a mattress behind you so catch you in case you fall.
Yeah,
during the stream.
Yeah, like Billy Finn's saying right here, you got Laura Croft is in there. You've got Homelander,
Nicki
Minaj, 21 Savage. They had Nick Merckx until things.
He got into the culture war.
Yeah. Who else? Snoop Dogg is in there. Like, so, there you go.
Maybe one day JayShockBlast.
No.
Surprised you aren't in there already.
Yeah, right.
I have not played a single second of Call of Duty at any point, or not any version ever in life.
See, that's more surprising than me not seeing The Sixth Sense.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Like, I feel like everybody has played Call of Duty at some point on accident.
Nope, not even by accident. When Call of Duty was a thing, I think the only because I wasn't even that big of a first person shooter guy growing up. The only first person shooters I played obviously GoldenEye on N64, and I played a little bit of Halo at some point, but I never had any interest in Call of Duty. I never played because I just generally didn't like first person shooters. So
I played a little bit of 2, a little bit of 3. I didn't play a lot of 4, but call it the 5th one. World at War is the one that like really got me into it. I loved World at War.
Yeah, because it's to me it seems pretty simple because there are a lot of people who just don't like first person shooters, and for years I prefer third person action games and sports games. Like, remember when I was coming up, 64 had a lot of great platformers. There was a lot of great platformers on PlayStation. There was, I had so much. I had Sonic games, Mario, Pokemon, Spyro, Crash, Banjo and Kazooie, Earthworm Jim. I had NBA Live when that was the biggest sports game in the world. Madden. I even played FIFA, NHL, MLB. They had a ton of great wrestling games back. This was like the era of The Rock and Stone Cold and Undertaker. There were so many non first person shooter games to play during this era. Metal Gear, Devil May Cry. Like I'd never even considered Call of Duty.
Yeah, World at War was the one that really started to get me into first person shooters, because I pretty much only played a lot of sports games, and then the way that our house was set up, I had, my mom was doing her best. We lived on the third floor of a 3-decker house where it's basically one large house with 3 different apartments.
Yep.
Very traditional New England kind of thing. And the third floor was the smaller one. So I had the small bedroom that basically fit my stuff. But my brother and I kind of shared our PlayStation and our Sega Genesis and all that. And that we just kept in his room, which was the bigger room. And that's where my computer was. So I would work on my computer and he would play all those different games. And that's how I slowly started to shift away from just playing the baseball, the football, and the basketball, the hockey.
PvP for me, I started getting into that when for fighting games like Smash Brothers premiered, and that was a massive hit. We had a bunch of great Dragon Ball Z fighting games. Budokai. There was so much to do. I never had even the time to even consider first person shooters.
It's so funny because I remember the day I got my Xbox 360 because I've been waiting for PS3 to come out. I had I was living in Jacksonville, Florida. I got this big bonus check. And I had enough to go get so Madden 05 was about to come out.
Love that game.
I was holding off getting it. I was trying to wait for PS3 to come out, but it got delayed. I'm like, all right, you know what? I've got enough to get an Xbox 360. It had just come out. It was the day Madden was coming out. So I'm like, fine, I'm going to go ahead and just get an Xbox 360 this for now. And maybe I'll get a PS3 too later. And I got Madden that day. And I also got Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And I bought those 2 games and my Xbox 360. And I had never even known that you could go online and play video games. There was a point in time as an adult that was a thing. You know what I mean?
It was very true. I think 360 might actually been my first online experience as well, because before I was basically playing, I was pretty much playing solo, but for the most part, or playing with other people like local co-op. Like I just go to someone's house and we get to set up the second controller. But I remember I played for 360. I remember I played State of Decay online, but for me, so I got a lot of third party games on 360 as well. But what really sold it for me for 360 was Fable. I put so many hours in the Fable, and another part of the Activision deal is Tony Hawk Pro Skater, because that was a huge game. Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
That was huge back then.
Those are, bro. I put so many hours. Like when I figured out how to do the 900, I was cheering. And that soundtrack, oh my god, that soundtrack.
I don't remember what my first online experience was. It was probably Call of Duty. So when we ended up moving, and 2 of my college friends moved down to Florida with us, and we ended up getting a house, and I left the 360 in the living room so that kind of everybody could play it. And my roommate Jake, who now works for Oculus, he rented Call of Duty 2, and then he bought it. And even though my 360 was the only one we had, he was he liked it so much, he's like, oh, I'm just gonna buy it. So I would watch him mostly play Call of Duty 2. But I don't think I actually went online myself until 4.
I didn't play online much, but the game I remember mostly playing online in those earlier days was the Naruto Ninja Storm games. I got good enough where I would just play rank. But otherwise I was mostly like a solo player. I played a lot of single player story driven stuff and just kind of enjoyed that. And that was good enough for me. Like GTA, I probably have at least 2,000 hours in Grand Theft Auto 3. And a lot of that is just me sitting in the car listening to the radio. Like,
I've literally never played any of the skateboarding games. They never interested me to begin with.
I never funny thing. Tony Hawk, I love Tony Hawk Pro Skater so much that I actually went out and bought an actual skateboard. Like it actually got me interested in the sport itself. So I would watch the X Games. I would watch when Tony or Bob Burnquist were on, and I went out and bought a skateboard and tried to learn how to skate. But soon as I got on and tried to learn how to like glide and steer, I was like, oh no, this ain't for me. I'm going to bust my ass. I was like, no, I'm gonna stick to basketball. So I just had that skateboard collecting dust. But I was at least interested enough to buy the skateboard, but I ended up sticking to the video game version because skateboarding is dangerous.
Yeah, 1 second. Hold on.
Jay's about to get a prop. I'm willing to bet Eastwood was there when they made the first ever skateboard. What did they make? What did they make those out of? What did they make those first boards out of, Eastwood?
So, hold on. Let me put my headset back on. So when I went to Summer Game Fest and met with EA, they took my information and sent me
a skateboard,
a skate deck. So, no wheels on it or anything, but
probably for the best.
Yeah, but it's still wrapped in plastic. But yeah. So I have a skateboard, technically.
Technically. Well, a skate deck.
A skate deck. That's true.
I have the full board with the wheels and everything.
Yeah.
I will never use it, but it is there as a prop. Kind of like how it was weird because it's kind of sometimes it's cool to have stuff as a prop. Like when I was going to a music conservatory to learn a piano and stuff. I also was there. I also got my buddy to try to give me some guitar lessons. So I would walk around when I was going to and from practice with a guitar on my back, and it's a great prop. Like people, because if you're just walking around with a guitar, people assume you're a guitar player,
right?
And you're immediately like 50% cooler just walking around with a guitar case, even if you can't play. Like you never have to pull it out and play, but just having it, people assume that you're someone of high social value. which was true, but I was at that time, I didn't know how to play. I was not very good at guitar yet, but I was pretty decent at piano. But the guitar was tricky because piano, for me at least, it was pretty easy to get into, but guitar, it's hell on your fingers, man. It was not an easy transition. I thought, oh, piano, I could do piano, I can do guitar, but no, guitar was,
I played the saxophone in high school.
I played the saxophone in middle school.
Yeah,
only because of that episode of The Simpsons with Lisa and Bleeding Gums Murphy.
I played in high school because band was the only group that went on trips. So I took it as my elective, and then I quit senior year because I didn't get to have band as a class. So I had to go on my we got study hall. And for seniors during study hall, you could just relax and do whatever you want. You didn't actually have to go to study hall. You could just go to the senior lounge and just hang out with everybody and do whatever. But I had to go to band class, and I kind of didn't go every day. So I I didn't have to go to band class. It was a choice to go during my study hall. And I was doing it for like a little while, and then it turned into, I'm only doing it like twice a week. And then like the band instructor's like, well, I need you here more. I'm like, I don't want to.
Makes sense.
So
why did you choose a saxophone?
I don't know. I just thought it looked cool.
Just thought it looked. Actually, contrary to that belief, Billy, you can in fact carry a piano around with you. The key is that you obviously can't carry a grand piano, but you can absolutely bring a electronic keyboard with you. And all you really need is a smaller keyboard, and you can easily carry that in a bag, and the stand folds up, so you can easily put it all in one bag. I've done it because I was in a band, so you actually can in fact do it, but it doesn't look quite as cool as carrying a guitar, but it's very much a thing that you can do, and just set up your keyboard anywhere you want. Just sit down and start playing. It's nice. It's definitely not as common as carrying around a guitar, but it's not. But it is technically doable. But I think overall this whole merging of giant corporations thing is going to become more common, especially in entertainment in general, with everything that's going on with Hollywood, as we'll get into later. But I'm just hoping that the game industry stays relatively competitive, because I don't want, because as I said before, I want Sony and Microsoft to continue to push each other, because it's been proven time and time again that if they didn't have each other, they would be putting out substandard product. because I mean, we've seen this with so many games. If you have when you get that monopoly, then you really don't have an incentive to do anything or innovate or push the envelope. People, NBA 2K players have been complaining about this for years. Because that's reality. So the Activision Blizzard deal maybe won't immediately be bad, but I think that as long as it's something that at least keeps Sony on their toes. Yeah.
Here's what I hope that Xbox gets innovative with some of the franchises. I would love to see, like, they brought Diablo, like Activision brought Diablo to console. It wasn't always on console.
Right.
I would love to see them dip into the World of Warcraft universe, the StarCraft universe, and start to bring those into console type games.
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush. I mean, hey, look, I'm sure that would be interesting. There's like this Pokemon game that I've been playing lately. It's Pokemon Cafe. And it's basically like a Candy Crush style game, and you can play that on Nintendo Switch. Not totally Candy Crush, but like it's basically like matching,
right,
all the different things. In this case, they're Pokemon heads, and trying to, like, I don't know, it's
you're crushing Pokemon heads.
You're not crushing them. You're like using them and the link to get. I don't know. It's tough to explain, but it's a puzzle game, is what I'm getting at.
Sounds barbaric.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, definitely some innovation would be nice from Microsoft, especially with some of those franchises that they have available. But speaking of, there is a shakeup going on at another giant corporation, and that is Marvel, because they recently announced that they are basically hitting a hard reset on Daredevil Born Again. And honestly, when I first saw the headline, I thought they were canceling the show. But when I read it, I was like, "Oh, actually, this sounds like a good thing." So basically, what it seems like it happened was the show was in production. People were excited about it, but cautiously optimistic, I would say, because they loved the Daredevil stuff on Netflix, but they also knew that the stuff on Disney Plus wasn't that good. So they were hoping this would end up being okay. But it sounds like the production got delayed due to the writer's strike and the actor strike, and they go into the article. But basically, sounds like Kevin Feige and everyone looked at the show, was like, "Oh, this is absolute dog shit," and just hit the hard reset. They kind of danced around that in the article, but it's actually really interesting. So, from the article, it says fewer than half of the series' 18 episodes have been shot because of the delays from the strikes. But it was enough for Marvel executives, including Chief Kevin Feige, to review the footage and come away with a clear-eyed assessment. The show wasn't working. So they quietly let go of head writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman and released the directors for the remainder of the season as part of a significant creative reboot of the series, which was reported by the Hollywood Reporter. The studio is now on the hunt for new writers and directors for the project. And this is the part that was just, when I read that, I was absolutely shocked. So this is insane how this is happening. So it says the company didn't commission pilots, but instead shot entire $150 million plus seasons of TV on the fly. It didn't hire showrunners, but instead depended on film executives to run its series. And just like it did with its movies, it relied on post-production and reshoots to fix something that wasn't working. That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah. And it all makes sense now, right?
Yeah.
Like we knew that they were having people go in and saying, don't read the source material, or hiring people that didn't know anything about it, so it is insane. It's dumb.
Like, why would you do any of this?
Yeah.
Like it was plenty bad that they would hire people and tell them not to do the source material. But this is just basic TV production. Like you hire a showrunner to plan and run this damn show who has experience doing it. You make a pilot and decide based on a pilot whether or not you want to green light more. You don't just like, oh yeah, let's just we want to make this show, so we're not going to focus as it. We want to do this, so here's $150 million. Figure it out.
like that just seems like bad business to begin with.
That's horrible business. What?
Like here's money. Figure it out.
This is what I think. I think this is kind of getting into why Disney Plus hasn't been particularly profitable. Like what is this business model? Why would you do this?
There's been a lot of talk about the whole I forgot what the name of the stage was, but the stage I always talk about, and how like people don't like working on it.
The Marvel soundstage.
Yeah, it has like a name, like Endeavor or something like that. I don't know, like some weird name. And here's the thing, okay? Like, obviously, we saw what Daredevil was able to do on Netflix. That is what people expect from this show,
and they weren't doing that at all. They actually went into this in the article. Sources say that Corman and Ord crafted a legal procedural that did not resemble the Netflix version, known for its action and violence. Cox didn't even show up in costume until the 4th episode. Like you took the best Marvel show ever made, which was known for its unbelievable action, and you're like, you know what? The best part about that show was Matt Murdock in court.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna make that show.
We're gonna make Marvel SVU.
Like what? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Man. What the actual hell, bro?
Yeah. So I'm actually kind of glad this all happened. Like honestly,
I'm thrilled.
Yeah. And maybe they're gonna learn from this. I hope so. And the first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna go hire some showrunners. I would find whoever was involved with the Netflix and like try to get them, Yeah, it's baffling. It's really truly baffling that like a company that literally like revolutionized the industry and produced billions and trillions of dollars worth of amazing entertainment doesn't know how to make entertainment, you know? Like Disney is one of the like preeminent companies in all of filmmaking. How do they not know this, you know? I mean, granted, there's the Marvel side of Disney, but it's still Disney now.
Yeah, this is the more you read about what happened behind the scenes, the more it makes perfect sense why so many of the Marvel Disney Plus, just in general, the Disney Plus stuff ended up being either underwhelming or bad because not only did they often hire the wrong writers, but they would like actively undermine or sideline the writers because Marvel was like, well, we're the producers, so we want to do this, and it has to be like there's nothing ruins a show or movie more than studio notes. In most of the cases, like sometimes notes can be helpful, but a lot of times, like when you're in the case of Marvel, literally trying to run the project, it's a creative disaster. So it sounds like going forward they're going to do the showrunner thing. They're going to do a more traditional multi-season TV approach to their Disney Plus shows instead of the absolute shit show they've been doing up, up to this point.
I read something about Moon Knight and it kind of made sense. That how like the writer, I think that like the people that were involved with writing on Moon Knight shifted halfway through the season as well.
Yeah, it says he covered this in our Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah.
On the Oscar Isaac star Moon Knight, show creator and writer Jeremy Slater quit, and director Mohamed Diab took the reins. They also mentioned that Jessica Gao developed and wrote She-Hulk, but was sidelined once director Kat Coral came on board. And She-Hulk had a lot of other problems, but yeah,
right. But like, if you know, you'll notice it. Like the first couple episodes of Moon Knight were like a thriller kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
then it just shifted to goofiness, and it makes sense now.
Yeah, the writer got kicked
I
out.
say that as somebody that liked Moon Knight a lot. All right, like it worked, but like it got goofy too.
Here's our favorite show, Secret Invasion.
Oh God.
So it says this change was felt most severely on Secret Invasion, Samuel L. Jackson led thriller that stands as Marvel's worst reviewed series. Kyle Bradstreet, a writer and executive producer on USA Network Emmy winner Mr. Robot, which was an absolute fantastic show, had been working on the scripts for Secret Invasion for about a year when he was abruptly replaced after Marvel decided on a different direction. Enter new writer Brian Tucker, who penned the crime thriller Broken City. Thomas Bazucha, who helmed the thriller Let Him Go, and Ali Salim, who worked on Hulu's non-level drama The Looming Tower, were on board as directors to help crack the story. So far, so normal, at least by Marvel's creative development standards. Details are murky, but what happens next in the summer of 2022 debilitated the production as factions became entrenched and leaders vied for supremacy during Secret Invasion's pre-production in London. It was weeks of people not getting along, and it erupted, said an insider. The company dispatched Jonathan Schwartz, a senior executive and member of Marvel's creative steering committee known as the Parliament, Jesus Christ, to get Secret Invasion back on track when it was falling behind schedule and on the verge of losing some actors because of other commitments. By early September, a good portion of the Invasion team had been replaced with new line producers, unit production managers, and assistant directors. And Bazucha, who was supposed to direct 3 episodes, left the show because of new scheduling conflicts. The Marvel executives overseeing the show, Chris Gary, was reassigned, and according to sources, is expected to depart Marvel when his contract is up at the end of the year. So, as you can tell,
this is baffling.
No surprise that Secret Invasion turned out the way it did. I mean, how could it not otherwise? I mean, what the actual hell? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How is the company who revitalized the superhero movie doing this doing this badly, or like what happened between Infinity War and now? Like, so they had to lose a bunch of like important people behind the scenes, because everything just completely fell off a cliff after Endgame. But the crack started to show. I feel like with starting with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then that Captain Marvel, even Endgame was even though people remember it fondly, primarily because of that third act, but that movie had a lot of flaws, and then it was just all downhill from there.
Yeah, and I even saw it today. A lot of people like talking about, it's just Marvel fatigue. It's not fatigue. It's just
it sucks.
Not good. Like we're not tired of it. We actually want more, and we just want it to be better.
Yeah, we just want it to be good. Good.
Yeah, like you could make 50 shows a year. Like just make them good.
Like
don't make them to make them.
Like JayShockBlast is so disconnected that he didn't even finish the second episode of Loki. Like he just
that was just like by chance. It's Friday, first of all.
But come on, if it came out. If this was, if you're telling me if this was like as good as Netflix's Daredevil, you would have watched it that night, right? If the first episode was as good as Netflix Daredevil, you would 100% watch it Thursday, right?
Yeah.
You would have been there at 9 sharp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like no one cares.
Yeah.
And the ratings reflected that.
You're not wrong.
The ratings reflected that because I was looking at it, Loki, not that well viewed, not that many people talking about it.
I also thought I would watch it today after so my priority this morning was the Fortnite Transformers,
of course.
And after my stream, I fell asleep.
Yeah, so. Very understandable. I watched. I did a video. I played a little bit of NBA 2K24 because they had 2K League draft tryouts. So I got a little bit into that, and then I fell asleep and watched Gen V. But I committed to doing the watch parties since they finally realized that, hey, more people might watch if we premiere our shows at prime time instead of dropping them randomly at 3:00 in the morning. But Loki just is underwhelming to a lot of people so far, and it's just it has nothing to do with fatigue. It's just that when you put out mediocre or bad product over and over again, eventually people start expecting mediocre and bad product, and they are not enthusiastic showing up. Like we saw this positive momentum happen with the early MCU when it's like, okay, well, you dropped Iron Man, you had the Avengers, you had all this stuff, so people were more willing to give Marvel products a chance because they were like, okay, well, all these were good, so we're going to give this one a shot. So because they had built some momentum, people were like, okay, well, I have no idea what Guardians of the Galaxy is, but it's Marvel. They just dropped some. We just dropped some great movies, so it's probably going to be good. There's got some great cast there. We'll check it out, and that ended up being big, so that built more credibility. But when you just release bad product after bad product, it's just like, oh well, okay, this is what we can expect. Really, there's no rush to go see it. And Loki episode 1 didn't really. I enjoyed it more than season 1's premiere, but that's not saying much because I thought season 1's premiere was pretty awful. So, the bar is in hell, and they haven't done enough. Even in episode 2, like they haven't really done much to wow us. I talked about episode 2 after we did the watch party, and my main issue was that it's unclear. It's once again a problem with stakes and character motivations. Like so far, the motivation of this season for Loki is saving the TVA and preventing Kang from Kanging, but season 1 was all about destroying the TVA from the perspective of Sylvie, and it was like, okay, well, it makes sense because the TVA is a horrible organization who's literally murdered trillions of people. And the only reason they were even existing was because Kang was trying to prevent his variants from giving him competition. He just wanted to run things his own way without having to deal with them. And now it's like, okay, well, you established that. Like, why would we care about the TVA now? Let it burn down. But they're expecting us to care this season. Oh, well, the TVA gets destroyed, then who's going to stop Kang? I mean, fucking Ant-Man literally beat his ass. why are we afraid of Kang?
Well, that's just one of the Kangs.
Just one. So far, we've seen 2 Kangs. One of them got stabbed by Lady Loki. The other got his ass beat by Ant-Man. So I don't see where the intimidation is. Compare that to Thanos. The first time Thanos actually fully appeared in a project, like he was teased before. It was nothing but, oh, Thanos is coming. Watch out for Thanos. Oh, everyone's afraid of Thanos. And then when we actually finally are introduced to him, we're it's in Infinity War, and it's the literal first scene. We see that he has single-handedly beaten the shit out of every Asgardian, including post-upgrade Ragnarok Thor, Loki. Then he fights Hulk in a 1v1 and beats the fuck out of him.
not only does he beat the hell out of the Hulk, he scares the Hulk into not wanting to be the Hulk ever again.
Literally, Hulk at this point is a unstoppable rage monster, and he got his ass beat so bad he quit. He's like, Thanos literally cured Bruce's anger problem, but with an ass whooping. like
that dude that's famous for and then fading out.
Yeah,
that's what he turned Hulk into.
He refused to transform for the rest of the movie because of how badly he got wrecked by Thanos.
Yeah.
That's how they introduced the big bad of the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
Compare that to Kang, He Who Remains. The first time we see him is in a low-viewed Disney Plus show. He spends 30 minutes doing a monologue, and then he promptly gets stabbed.
To be fair, that monologue was pretty good.
It was a good monologue, but because John Major's a good actor. But come on, he got stabbed at the end of it. Like there was nothing intimidating there. It was like, oh yeah, I'm basically the wizard behind the curtain.
But he did say he was the good one.
I'm the good one, and then we meet the bad one, and he gets beat up by Scott. I
don't know if he was he was evicted. It's they kicked him out in Big Brother.
He was so bad that they were like, "Oh well, we can't have him out here, so we're going to banish him to the quantum realm with his ship." Brilliant idea there. But it was like, he's too bad. We can't let him roam free. He's too dangerous. And he was so and he even bragged about, oh, I've killed so many Avengers. Are you the one with the hammer? I can't keep track of it. Huh. Damn it! Looks like I froze. Hold up.
Well, I guess it's just me now. What's happening with Jonathan Majors? The last we saw, they arrested the lady that we believe falsely accused him, because she was actually the aggressor. So things are starting to kind of come out in his favor. He seems to have been kind of redeemed, if you will. But it's still all pending. He is in this. I don't know that I haven't seen episode 2, so I don't know if we see him yet. You're muted.
We saw him in the trailer.
Yeah.
That was promoting season 2, so we know at some point they're going to look for him. As part of they basically gave kind of the reason why they're going to be looking for him and why they potentially could be looking for him in episode 2. It's really dumb. They established in episode 1 that we have to close the blast doors because time bullshit, and now in episode 2 it's like, well, we have to open the blast doors now because of time bullshit. But there's a retinal scan thing. We can't access it to open it, even though we could close it without any problem. But we can't open it again unless we have either Mrs. Minute or the original person who set it up, which was He Who Remains.
There you go.
So Loki season 2. Oh, we have to close the door and then open it. that's the plot. that's the plot so far. Closing and opening doors and a lot of McDonald's product placement. There was a lot of that in episode 2. A lot of McDonald's, which they established in the post credit scene in episode 1. There's a lot more McDonald's in episode 2. If that's something you were looking forward to.
I just need to acknowledge Sam Burger here.
As you should, but I'm not looking for it. And there was actually an interesting story. Apparently, they had a lot bigger plans for Loki season 2 before abruptly switching. We got this from the direct. Apparently, they originally planned for season 2 of Loki to be a multiversal war, and it was supposed to come before Quantumania. They said they ended up going the other way. This was reported by Den of Geek. They said that they were going to have a full on multiversal war take place during the season, and season 2 was meant to come out before Ant-Man Wasp Quantumania. Obviously, would have changed the time quite a bit, but they ended up saying that it felt wrong and it felt unearned, so they opted not to go in that direction. But obviously
I don't like multiverses to begin with. So,
but they've already done it, and a multiversal war would have made sense something like that would have made sense based on the ending of season 1, because it was like it was all building up to
the whole arena.
Yeah, it's like, well, we can't let the sacred we can't disrupt the sacred timeline, even though you're destroying trillions of people's lives. Well, the alternative is, a bunch of Kangs coming through, starting a multiversal war. So choose, you can run the sacred timeline in my place, or you can, get rid of me and let the multiversal war begin. And they chose to roll that dice, and then that's it. But and then after that, nothing really happened in the MCU. I mean, you had Multiverse of Madness, which was mainly just Wanda chasing Doctor Strange and America Chavez around because she wanted to see her fake children, and you had Quantumania, which was them fighting Kang and beating his ass in the quantum realm, and that's pretty much it. We really haven't even seen any multiversal war or anything. Like, it would have made sense, but instead we're now getting this much more scaled down season 2, which so far the stakes don't seem particularly that compelling. Like, who cares ultimately if the TVA is destroyed? So it's like, we'll see how they all tie it all together. But yeah, it's not multiversal war may have been a reach, but the alternative that they've settled on is just like, like spending a lot of time at McDonald's parking lots having conversations. It's like, I think I'd rather have the multiversal war.
So. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't disagree, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens from here. I just hope they get their stuff together, man, because like, it used to be just an event to go to one of these movies, and now it just feels like, and it's not fatigue, it's just like they just, they haven't been whatever. Yeah. I will say, though, I am very encouraged because it seems like they still plan on Deadpool 3 coming out when they say it will. And I did say we were going to talk about Taylor Swift, and I think we've already talked about that. It seems pretty much guaranteed she's going to be Dazzler. So there you go. I didn't want to lie on Twitter, so I mentioned Taylor Swift, so we've talked about her.
There you go.
And
but are we sure that Deadpool 3 is coming out on time? Because actors are still on strike.
I think they actually are going back. I saw something even today, like since 5:49 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
That things are back on track.
Yeah. So the assumption was, after they made the deal with the writers, this would pretty much be a done deal because the narrative was that they're not going to pay fairly, they're not going to compromise on AI, and that ended up not being the case at all. They were like, yep, you have your big pay increases, have your protections against AI. The interesting thing is that what seems like is going to happen is that the studios kind of look like they finessed a little bit. Like it looks like what's going to happen is there's going to be less projects overall being made, less people getting hired, and the people who are hired are going to be paid, be very compensated. They're going to get performance incentives, but we're going to see less projects, particularly from Hollywood, and more outsourcing to like the UK and Korea for more of these projects. But the actors strike, the big holdup was that basically the studios walked away from the table because they were saying the negotiations were going fine, and then the actors just dropped this proposal on them. It was like, hey, yeah, we want to get a cut of that sweet subscriber revenue. We want to get a piece of every subscriber. And the studios was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. and it is walked away. But we'll see if the writers, writers are going to have to cave in on that. Like, there's absolutely no way the studios are going to go along with that.
I mean, the subscription services, they're like, people are already complaining because everybody's raising the price of the subscription services.
Yeah, Netflix just confirmed they're going to raise the prices again right after the strike is resolved.
And they're also going back to cracking down on password sharing.
Yep.
And here's the funny thing about that is, like, I've seen a lot of fans, and this is where you can't have it both ways, right? Like, a lot of fans that have been like, oh, just pay the actors what they're worth. Like, you do realize that's going to come out of your pockets, right? And then they're mad when, like, they're trying to, like, fix these back end loopholes essentially on, like, look, we have like 5 people on my Netflix account. All right. And we have like all the services, and the 5 people are all in charge of like getting one of the services, and we just split them all amongst each other, And like, I don't necessarily think that's the end of the world, but like, at the same time, like, if you want to watch it, like, you got to pay for it, like, at a certain point.
Yeah. And especially since like people keep harping on, oh, well, it's just revenue, but that's what you fundamentally don't understand. Like, people that have never run a business before, you see this all the time, they often mistake revenue with profit. Like, they don't take into account that just because you see a lot of revenue doesn't mean that's automatically that, oh yeah, they should have no trouble at all paying the writers, because revenue doesn't mean anything if you're not taking into account expenses, like how much you want to look at how much they made after expenses, and pretty much all of these streaming services are in the red because if they have a ton of subscribers like Netflix does, they generate a lot of yearly revenue, but also they spend billions of dollars developing the content in the first place.
Place. And like, that's the thing that's insane to me is like all these people are like, well, we went on streaming and all of a sudden our residuals disappeared. Well, yeah, because like, The Office being run on Comedy Central 24 hours a day has commercials.
Yeah.
That's where your residuals are coming from. Yeah, SVU running marathons on USA Network, every time I turn on USA before Monday Night Raw, it's Chicago Fire, I think, or Chicago, whatever their police show is one of them. And it's like, yeah, you're getting these reruns that are getting residuals because there's ads associated with it. You go to Netflix, there's no ads. Yeah, I'm
surprised more streaming services didn't have like a partially ad driven tier like Hulu was doing initially to, and also they've explored the option, and more studios are going to. I know Disney in particular, we're going to take advantage of this, but having like some of your streaming shows appear on network TV, like I think they did that. They said they were doing that with Miss Marvel. So that's another way they could, stretch out some more revenue for these shows.
Well, here's another one. Okay, have you ever looked at like your ad revenue and stuff for like your YouTube and everything?
All the time.
All right, how much money a month do you get from YouTube Red? Like $15 tops?
YouTube Premium?
Or Premium? It used to be Red.
Yeah, it's YouTube Premium. Basically nothing.
Exactly. Okay. So that is exactly what's happening. Okay. Because people with YouTube Premium pay what, $10 a month or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And only like a part of that gets split amongst everybody that they watch. And I think it's like $3. I think it's 30% of that goes towards the different content creators they watch. So like if Billy Finn, okay, if he's a YouTube Premium member, if he like watches me, you, Lejeune, Casual Avenger, and like 47 other content creators, that $3 gets split it proportionately, like based on time watched between those 47 people. So like out of the $3 out of the 10 that Billy would be paying, you get 13 cents because that's how much of that.
Now, if more people were actually on YouTube Premium, we'd be doing something, because the rates are actually pretty crazy. On if it's just the fact that so few people are actually using it. Like I'm looking at my back end right now for the last 28 days, and I'm looking at, they give you a nice little breakdown of where all your money came from, and I'm looking at it. Here it is. All right, so over the last, I won't give my full revenue breakdown. It's embarrassingly high, but over the last 28 days, I made $90 from YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
That which is 2.3% of my revenue for the last 30. It'd have been great if more people have it, but most people are just we'll just run the ads. We'll just deal with the ads, but a lot more will just run with an ad blocker, because it's just more convenient. Because in theory, I feel like YouTube Premium is a good deal, but I feel like there's not enough incentive built in to make people want it over an ad blocker, and they haven't really. And the other thing is, they haven't figured out quite yet how to get rid of the ad blockers. Like they're rolling it out. They're rolling out stuff. Like occasionally I'll see stuff where it'll be like, oh yeah, you can't. I've seen that where people report that they've gone on YouTube and like, oh, they got a message saying, oh, you can't watch with ad block or whatever. But it's not something that appears consistently.
I was just using you as the person because you were the last person to comment at that point in time.
Yeah. But if you really want to support your favorite creators, if you would get YouTube Premium, because it'd be technically a win-win. You would get to watch your favorite content creators or pretty much everything on YouTube without ads whatsoever, and you're contributing money directly to your favorite content creator just by watching their video.
I disagree. If you want to support your favorite content creator, become a member of the channel. Don't get YouTube Premium, because we're gonna make more off of them watching like 3 ads. You froze. I think maybe his computer froze. All right. So yeah, like it's a whole, the point of what we're talking about is the fact that like it's just crazy how you have to divvy up this pot amongst all these places, all these people, spend all this money on production. So like it is a limited pool when there is no advertising revenue to choose from. YouTube Premium is like $10 a month, I think. But I actually believe the exact opposite. I believe you don't want YouTube Premium and you should just watch ads. Like, I think, like, I don't know how often ads pop up. I don't like watching ads either, okay? Like, I get it, but like, I don't know, man. Like, I look at it as, all right, I'm helping my favorite creator because I'm watching the ads. I am completely fine if people want to just do that to support us. But the YouTube Premium, like, if everybody had YouTube Premium, we would make no money because like there's such a small amount of it that gets divided amongst all the different creators you watch. Unless you only watch like 3 creators, then fine. You know, if you only watch myself, Sadot, and Casual Avenger, then by all means go ahead and get YouTube Premium. We each get $1 off each month. You know, now we just need to find like hundreds of other people. So, you know. But yeah, anyway, yeah, that's the long and short of it. Sadot's probably rebooting his computer, because he, just froze. I don't know if he's rebooting, what he's doing, but, what else do we got? We're a week away from Spider-Man. I'm super hyped for that. I am trying to find a copy that falls off the bus, the proverbial bus, if you will. Today I got this, the Transformers pack for Fortnite. It comes with Skeletor, Bumblebee, and the Battle Bus. But you know, I don't know, but I can't convince myself to buy premium. I feel you, man. Like, you know, it's like a double-edged sword. Can I just send you $1 in the mail every month? Snail mail? I don't know. It'd be more than that. You'd have to buy a stamp too. So, but yeah, I just hold on, checking my DMs to see. Oh, Mr. Casual sent a GIF. Power it up. Oh, Sadot lost power. Oh boy. Okay. So hold on. Should I just call it? So Sadot lost power. And you know, obviously it's just the man trying to hold him down. And I don't know if this is going to be a quick thing or if this is going to be a long-term thing. I do know there's some weather going around. We just I'm annoyed that the collector's digital code is in the box, but yeah, dude, I feel you there. Palestinian riots. Well, he is in Philadelphia. There's no baseball game tonight. So, but yeah, I just hope that they ship them out. Okay. Like, I just hope we get them on the 19th. I already have my A code right here. Okay. So this is the code that came in the box with the PlayStation. Now, here's the thing that I've heard. I've heard that if you pre-order the game online, that you could pre-load the game right now. But this code, if I were to redeem this code right now and load and have it like pre-put in there and everything, it won't actually allow me to preload the game. That seems kind of crazy. And apparently it's going to work that way with the collector's edition code too. So I don't understand that one. I feel like if you've got the game paid for and you've got the code redeemed, I don't see the difference between pre-ordering online or having the code. But I'll be honest with you, the Assassin's Creed Mirage copy I got was a code, and it didn't count as a pre-order. So I didn't get the pre-order mission. So, but yeah. So at this point, yeah, Jim Stevenson confirmed that on Twitter. Yeah, I did see that, Arkham. Yeah, it downloaded this morning. Is Mirage good? Oh, I meant to do that. Is Mirage good? I completed it 100%. So I enjoyed it a lot. It was definitely cool to get like basically the platinum, if you will. I've kind of considered, do I want to just go buy it on PlayStation so I can get an actual platinum for it? But I'm not going to do that because, you know, it was a long grind. It took me about 30 to 40 hours. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story. It was not quite what it was about, not quite what it was for Valhalla and Odyssey and Origins. But yeah, it's I don't know. I ordered a copy that's supposed to be here on the 20th. All my Amazon orders usually arrive by 3 p.m. Lucky. All my Amazon. Okay, so you got it from Amazon. My UPS orders don't usually arrive until between like 5 and 8 p.m. So all right. Well, here's what we're gonna do. I guess I haven't heard back from Sadot. So we're almost at the 2-hour mark anyway. And I'm close to needing to do my government mandated bathroom break. So we're just gonna have a shorter episode this time. So I appreciate everybody that came out. You know, everybody that's here. Obviously, you know, the after show, we really enjoy doing the show. Shout outs to Casual Avenger out there. We hope we can get him on the show again at some point soon. If he can ever put his deep dish down. I think I'm supposed to say zip it up and zip it out. I think I could keep this ball rolling, but you know, the Japan AC game is what I'm really looking forward to. I agree. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great night. We will be back next week. And obviously, next week's episode is going to be all Spider-Man all the time. We're going to try to put Spider-Man down long enough to do another show. But we are only 7 days away from Marvel Spider-Man 2. I think everybody is excited. I hope you guys have a great night. And hopefully Sadot gets his power back eventually. See ya.